All right. Good afternoon, superstars. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can all hear me. Okay, so we're starting now, and I want us to be attentive in class today because, like yesterday, it's gonna be a wonderful time again learning mathematics. I hope you can all hear me. Please, you can comment. Give me the comment. You can hear me. Let me know in the comment box. Um, so that we can move on. So, like I said, it's going to be a great time learning mathematics again today, getting you prepared for your UTME. And I can assure you that if before now you've been having fears concerning mathematics, uh, I can tell you boldly that you don't need to fear anymore, right? Because we're simplifying everything as much as possible so that you can get it and have your desired score in your UTME jam. All right, so now it's time for class. Like I said, right now we'll be looking at, yesterday we talked about uh what's it called now? We looked at some laws of indices, right? Some important laws of indices and talked about the multiplication law, we talked about the division law, we talked about the fractional index law, right? So today we are looking at new topic entirely, and this topic is arithmetic progression. So we have arithmetic progression and we have geometric progression. So if time permits us today, we'll be looking at geometric progression too, but our focus for today's class is arithmetic progression. So these are, this is a very important topic we want to pay attention to in your jam. It comes out every year. I can assure you, it comes out every year, and it's not hard. Like I said, it's not hard. All it requires is is for you to practice, know your formulas, and you're good. All right. So arithmetic progression, what do we mean by arithmetic progression? Is a sequence of numbers where the difference between any two consecutive terms is a constant. I'll go over that again. It says arithmetic progression is a sequence of numbers where the difference between two consecutive terms is a constant. So what do you mean by two consecutive terms? If I have one, the next number is what? Two. So one and two are two consecutive terms. That is the number following another number. So for example, right, if I have in this particular slide now, I have 5, 9, 13, 17. 5 and 9 are what? Two consecutive numbers because they are following each other. So 9 is following 5. That's what I mean by consecutive numbers. So arithmetic progression is talking about the difference, how the difference between two consecutive numbers is always constant, right? So in this case, for instance, we have 5, 9, 13, 17. So who can tell me what's the difference between these numbers, right? 5, 9, 13, and 17. You can see by just looking at it, you can see that it's just like they're adding 4 to each number, right? You can add 4 to 5, you get 9. If you add 4 to 9, you get 13. If you have 4 to 13, you get 17. All right. So that is what arithmetic progression is talking about. Arithmetic progression is talking about. So, and the difference between two consecutive terms is what we know call common difference. All right. Is always called common difference. So when we get to geometric progression, we look at common ratio. But for arithmetic progression, the difference between the constant between two consecutive terms is called the common difference. So don't forget, the difference between the two consecutive terms of an AP is called what? Common difference. All right. So always note that an AP is a sequence of numbers where the difference between any two consecutive terms. So I told you two consecutive terms here means numbers following each other. 5, 9, 13, those are consecutive terms. So 9 is following 5, 13 is following 9, 17 is afterwards 13. So they are consecutive numbers. So if I have two consecutive numbers here, I'm talking about 5 and 9, or 9 and 13, or what? 13 and 17. So the difference between these consecutive terms, all right? So in this particular, what's it called now? The language you'll be using here a lot is terms, All right. I will say the first term of this particular sequence is what? 5. The second term of this particular sequence is what? 9. The third term is what? 13. The fourth term is what? 17. So we are using terms. So if I say what is the how many terms do we have in this sequence? Who can tell me? The number of terms we have in this sequence is what? 14. 5, 9, is 4 rather. 5, 9, 13, and what? 17. So those are the terms we have in this sequence. Please follow me. It's very, very important because we are laying foundation. All right. So good afternoon, everyone that is just joining. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. All right. So arithmetic progression is simple. All right. Like I said, the difference between two consecutive terms is always the same. They are always the same. It's always the same. So in this case now, the difference between 5 and 9, 9 and 13, 13 and 17 is the same, which is 4. So and that's what we call the what? The common difference. All right. So that's what we call the common difference. Also, before we move on, 5 here is the first term. First term in arithmetic progression is always denoted by what? A. A. A is the first term. The first term of an AP. So AP here is talking about arithmetic progression. Arithmetic progression. So A is always denoted by what? The first term. D is the what? The common difference. All right. D is a common difference. Please note all these things I'm saying because they are very important. They're very necessary in your jam. All right. So A is always the first term, whether in arithmetic progression, whether in geometric progression. A is denoted by the first term. So the first term here in this particular sequence is 5. The common difference is what? Is 4. That is D is what? Common difference. The reason why it's called the common difference is simple because it's common to everything, each and every number, right? So 5 is increased by 4 to get 9, right? You increase 9 by 4 to get what? 13. You add 4 to 13 to get 17. That's why it's called the common difference. So, and also note that, okay, let me not get ahead of myself. Let's just look at something very important. So, why do we need to study? Why do we need to know AP, arithmetic progression? There are a lot of, cases, there are a lot of uses for this arithmetic progression. It's very important that you know how to, solve, how to, do your calculations regarding arithmetic progression. So understanding AP is crucial for several reasons, both in your exams and in real life scenarios, right? So of course, like I said, jam mathematics question, you always see it there. Almost every year it comes out. All right. So you're always there. All right. So there are a lot of reasons. You can just go through it because by our time you have a lot of things to do. All right. Foundation for jam mathematics. All right. AP is a core topic in jam syllabus and frequently appears in questions involving nth terms, the sum of series, linear growth pattern, and all of that. All right. So let's move on. Can also make use of it in modeling linear growth, logistical path planning. AP is used in physical arrangements such as determining the number of seats in a stadium. Just you can think of anything you can apply AP for. By the time you solve questions, you know that there are things you can apply AP into practically. All right. So there are formulas that we use in arithmetic progression. Formulas that we use in arithmetic progression. All right. So the first formula I'll be talking about here is the nth term formula, the general term, or you want to call it the nth term formula. What do I mean by nth term formula? So if I have, for instance, I have, let's say I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Who can tell me the number of terms that we have here? We have 5 number of terms, right? 5 terms in this particular sequence. That is 2, 4, 6, 8, and what? And 10, right? So if I want to know the 10th term of this particular sequence, will I be writing 2, 4, 6, 10, 12 till I get to the 10? Or the examiner can even ask you, what is the 99th term of this sequence? Will you now be writing, just because you know the common difference, you'll now be adding the common difference? No, there's no time for that. So there's a formula to get the nth term of a particular sequence. The formula is simple. It is called un, it is known as un equals to a plus n minus 1d. I will explain all these things to you, right? Now, in mathematics, I don't encourage that you cram formula. Why don't I encourage that? Because if you cram a formula, if you get into the exam hall, pressure and all of that can make you forget. But how do you get this formula stick into your head? It's simple. Solve a lot of questions. For instance, when we're done with this class today, you want to make sure that you solve 2, 3, 4, 5 questions regarding AP. By the time you solve questions, especially using these formulas, you know that you don't necessarily have to cram it. It just sticks. You just know that you know it already. But if you cram it and say, okay, let me just write down all formulas, of course, there are places where, of course, there are things you have to, formulas you have to cram. Not necessarily have to cram like that, but maybe because you've not read it or something, you just want to use that formula for a particular thing, then you have to cram it. But in this case, now that's why you need to get prepared early enough. Jam is still like few months away. So get yourself ready. And how you get yourself ready is by practicing. You practice questions as we're doing, in class. You go in your own personal time of study, you practice questions on this particular topic we're talking about, right? Every day we talk about a particular topic, you go, you practice questions. That's how these formulas will get into your head. You don't necessarily have to cram them. So there's a way, of course, this formula was derived because of, you're doing jump. Even WAEC will not ask you to prove the formula of the end term of an AP. They won't ask you that, all right? But there are ways all these formulas are derived. So this is not the time for us to be going into, oh, how did they come about this formula? What we need is the formula, all right? And the formula is simple. UN, there's the number of term, the fifth term, for instance. So the fifth term of this particular sequence is what? 10. The common difference is what? By just looking at it, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 is what? Is 2. That's the difference between each consecutive term, right? 2 plus 2, 4, 4 plus 2, 6, 6 plus 2, 8, 8 plus 2, what? 10. So in this particular sequence now, we have 5 terms in this sequence. Now let's assume we want to get the 10th term of this particular sequence. This is the formula we use. What does A mean? So let me start from UN. UN is the value of the nth term. The value of the nth term in this case, of course, is what you're trying to get. A is the first term of this sequence. So let me use this particular sequence I just wrote on the board. It says 2, 4. We know here that A is what? A is what? 2. What is our common difference? How do you get your common difference? Is the difference between the second term or the second term and the first term. So you look at, in this case now, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. If you want to get the common difference, it's simple. D is the common difference calculated as U2 minus what? U1. That is, you look at the second term, you subtract the first term from the second term, or you look at the third term, subtract the second term from the third term. It's simple. You can choose 2 consecutive terms in a sequence. Doesn't necessarily have to be first and second term. I can choose 8 and 10. That is 10 minus 8 is what? Is 2. I can choose 2 and 4. I can choose 4 and 6. Just make sure that the 2 times you are choosing, they are what? 2 consecutive times. I hope you get this. To get your common difference is simple. Just subtract the first term from the second term. Subtract the second term from the what? Third term. Same thing if you want to make use of fourth and fifth term. Subtract the fourth term from the fifth term. It's simple as ABC. You don't need to rack your head concerning this at all. So your common difference here is what? Is 4 minus 2, which is what? 2. So the formula says UN equals to what? A. What is our A here? 2. Now we are using this formula now. Plus, what is our N? The question says find the 10th term. Find the 10th term of this particular sequence. Find the 10th term. So N is what? N is 10. So N is the position of the term. So in this case now, the question is saying find the 10th term. So N is what? Is 10. Because that's the number of term we are looking for. We are looking for the 10th term in this particular sequence. So your N here is 10. That is 10 minus 1 into brackets what? What is our common difference? 2. Our common difference is 2. All right? So the reason why I'm writing all of this, like I said yesterday, is just for the purpose of learning. All right? So in your jam, you might not necessarily have to be writing it one by one like this. Just by looking at it, you know your first term to be A, which is 2. your common difference to be what? D. You know you are looking for 10 term, right? And your n here is what? Is 10. 10th term. That's the number of terms, right? N here is 10. So 10 minus 1 is 9. 9 times 2 is what? Which is the D, all right? 9 times 2 is what? 18. 18 plus 2 is what? 20. Less than 15 seconds, we are done with this question. But because of I'm teaching us, that's why I'm going through all of these things. All right. So 2 plus, we have 2 plus 10 minus 1 is what? 9 times what? Times 2. We have 2 plus 18, which is what? 20. Let's check whether we are correct. You know, I said this is what? This is the 10th term. This is what we just calculated. We just calculated the 10th term. We can check, all right? We can check whether or not we are right. And how do we check? Let's keep adding 2, right, to this particular sequence. It says 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. What is the next one? 12. What is the next one? 14. What is the next? 16. What is the next? 18. What is the next? 20. What is the next? 22. Now let's count. This 20 must be the 10th term. So let's count from 2. This one will give us, this is the first term, right? Second term, third term, fourth term, fifth term, right? Sixth term, seventh term, eighth term, ninth term, and what? 10th term. So our 10th term is what? 20, which you just calculated using formula. Can you see that it's simple? But in your exam, the examiner can tell you to find the 62nd term. And maybe the common difference is even maybe 3. Will you now be writing 3 plus 3 plus the first term? No. This formula is what you use to calculate your number of terms. It's called the nth term formula. So please note this formula is very, very important. Please comment in the comment section if you are following, if you're getting what I'm teaching you, so that we can move ahead. All right. So I'm pretty sure that this explanation is simple as possible. The number of term of a particular sequence, in this case now, arithmetic progression. So AP. Don't forget, let me do a recap for those that are just joining, that in an arithmetic progression, the difference between two consecutive terms is always what? Is always the same. Is always the same. So in this case now, the difference between the first and the second term is 2. The difference between the second term and the what? Third term is 2. So on and so forth. All right, good. Uchechukwu Henry said, understood, sir. All right. So let's move on. So the second formula I'll be looking at is the sum of terms. The sum of terms. So the sum of terms says, this is the formula for the sum of terms. Sn equals to n minus 2. I told you here that n is what? The number of terms. If the question says, find the sum of the first 4 terms of this particular sequence. Find the sum of the first 4 terms of this particular sequence. This is the formula you're going to use. Now, the first formula we talked about is what? The nth term, how to find the term. If this question that we just solved now, it says, what is the 10th term of this particular sequence? So you get your A, you get your D. Your A is always the first term of the particular sequence. You get your D, which is the common difference, and you can calculate your nth term. But in this case now, if they tell us, now find the sum of the first 4 terms of this particular sequence. Now let's use the same formula we use right here, which is 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Let me write it somewhere here. 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on and so forth. So in this case now, let's say we want to find the sum of the first 4 terms. The sum of the first 4 terms of this particular sequence. What are the 4 terms of this particular sequence? 2, 4, 6, and what? And 8. Those are the first 4 terms. Don't forget what I said term is. It's just the position, right? The first term is 2. The second term is what? 4. The third term is what? 6. The fourth term is what? 8. So we want to find the sum of the first what? 4 terms of this particular sequence. This is in formula you use. So, like I said, you don't necessarily have to cram all these formulas. After this class, just go ahead, solve questions, look at your jam pass questions. Of course, we'll definitely be solving questions here. Look at your jam pass questions, solve questions as many as you can. I would advise from the past 10 years, start solving questions on any AP and GP questions you see. All right. So now this is a sequence. This is a sum. The sum says n over 2 into bracket 2a plus open bracket n minus 1 close bracket d. The formula is on your screen. Sn equals to n over 2 open bracket 2a plus n minus 1 close bracket what? D. That's the sum of the what? Of the first whatever term they tell us to find. They can say find the sum of the first 20 terms of a particular series. This is the same formula you use. Now let's look at 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. We want to look at, let's say we want to find the sum, find the sum of the first 4 terms of the sequence above. Using this formula, find the sum of the first 4 terms of the what? Of the sequence above. So Sn over what? Let's get right onto it. It gives us what? What is our n? Don't forget, the question says find the sum of the first 4 terms. So in this case, your n will be what? 4. So your question will always guide you into what your n will be. In this case, your n is 4. Why? Because it says find the sum of the what? First 4 terms of this sequence. If the question says find the sum of the first 10 terms, your n will now be what? 10. But in this case, it says find the sum of the first 4 terms of the sequence above. So n here is what? 4. Let's list out our parameters. N is 4. A is what? 2. Don't forget, we are still making use of this particular sequence. Let me underline it for you so that you can see. Let me underline it for you. This particular sequence. That's what we are looking at. All right. We want to find the sum of the first n term. Sum of the first n term. All right. Sum of the first n terms. All right, good. Let's move on. So now that we've said our n is 4, a is what? 2, because that a is what? Is always the first term. Please don't forget, a is always the first term. All right, let's move very fast because our time is fast spent so that we can solve some jam questions. All right, a equals to 2, and your d, let me change the color to the color I've been using. All right. And your d equals to what? Your d equals, what's the common difference? 2. All right. So using this formula, let's substitute our values into it. Sn equals to, what is our n? 4 over 2, open brackets, 2 times a, right? 2 times 2 plus, what is our n? Don't forget again, n is 4 minus 1, close brackets, what's our d? Which is the common difference? 2. All right. So let's solve this. So it gives us what? 4 divided by 2 is 2. Open bracket, 2 times 2, 4. Plus 3 minus 1 is what? 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is what? 6. All right, so it gives us 2 into bracket 10, because 6 plus 4 is what? Is 10. So this gives us what? 20. Now, how do you check whether you are right or wrong? It's simple. The question says find the sum of the first 4 terms of this particular sequence. What is the sequence? This is sequence. This particular sequence. All right? On the board here. So let's do it manually. What are the first 4 terms? 2, 4, 6, and 8, isn't it? So let's add them together. Let's see whether we get 20. 2 plus 4, 6. 6 plus 6, 12. 12 plus 8, 20. Can you now see? Simple as ABC. Just substitute your values and you're right. So please put it in the comment section if you're getting it. Kofi says, I like the way you're breaking it down. Awesome, awesome. It's just so that all of us can be on the same page, so that we can all learn and understand what we are getting out of this. All right, so let's move on very quickly. I have a past question from Jam here. This past question is, it says the third term of an arithmetic progression is minus 9, and the seventh term is what? Minus 29. The question says find the 10th term of the progression. Find the 10th term of the progression. So the third term of an arithmetic progression is what? Is minus 9. So let's write down our parameters. You know, in this case now, they didn't give us the A. They didn't give us the first term. They only said the third term. That is, don't forget the formula we used. UN, what is the number of term? What is the nth term of a particular series, which is in this case AP? UN equals to what? A plus n minus 1 D. So they've given us UN in this case, which is the third term, to be what? No. It says UN equals to what? UN in this case is what? Your n is 3. That's the third term. So U3 equals to what? A. You are not given A, right? A plus, what is your n? Who can tell me what your n is? Your n is what? 3. The question says the third term. So n is what? 3. 3 minus 1, close bracket D, equals to what? They've given us already is minus 9. So let's write this equation out. A plus 3 times 3 minus 1 is what? 2 times D is 2D minus 9. Call this equation 1. Call this equation 1. Now, if I was to do this in JAMB, trust me, I wouldn't be writing all of these steps. But because, of course, I'm teaching every one of us, and I'm not expecting that all of us will be on the same page. That's why I'm taking my time to write all of this. In JAMB, I'll just look at it the third time. Oh, in my head, I'll write down this equation. I'll store it in my head. The seventh time, I'll do the same. Write it, store it in my head. The only way I will write something down is when I want to do the substitution or use the elimination method, because this one will lead us to what? Simultaneous equation. Someone might want to do simultaneous equation again in AP and GP. Calm down, it's simple. Is what? It's simple. So this is our first expression. So in mathematics, what problem is simple. I love what problem. Any questions that deals with what problem, I always love, because I'm just reading the question and interpreting the question. The third term of an arithmetic progression is minus 9. This is it. This is the expression. That English that they just told us now, this is what it means. A plus 2D equals to minus 9. That's the English. The third term of an arithmetic progression is minus 9. And the seventh term is what? Minus 29. The same way we did this. The same way we did this. All right? So let me do this. U7 equals to what? Let's see again. Minus 29. U7 equals what? Minus 29. And what does this mean? A plus n minus 1D. In this case, our n is what? 7. Don't forget. 7 minus 1D equals to what? Minus 29. Equals to minus 29. So let's do this. It will now give us A plus 7 minus 1, 6D equals to what? Minus 29. Call this equation 2. Now, the question says, find the 10th term of the progression. Find the 10th term of the progression. Well, that is, find U10. Find U10. All right. I can see people are dropping answers already. Good, good. Yanolua says minus 44. Oluwademilade says minus 44. Awesome, awesome. So let's see how they got that minus 44. And for some that might be thinking, oh, how did they get minus 44? Is that the right answer? Don't worry. We'll solve it together now. All right, now that we have equation 1 and 2, let me rewrite them here in this second page. Please follow me. Equation 1 is what? A plus 2D equals to what? Minus 9, right? Equals to minus 9. A plus 2D equals to minus 9, all right? Equation 1. Equation 2 says A plus 6D equals to what? Minus 29. Equation 2. Don't forget. Equation 2. So this is simultaneous equation. This is simultaneous equation, all right? This is simultaneous equation. Equation 2. Cool. So let me do something. Let me break this so that we don't get to go into the next page. Now, in this Okay, so now this is simultaneous equation. You can choose to use elimination method, right? Just subtract equation 2 from equation 1. So let's say subtract, because we have two equations, right? Subtract equation 2, subtract equation 2 from equation 1. So if you subtract equation 2 from equation 1, it will give you a plus 2d, right? Sorry, a plus 2d minus a open bracket a plus 6d equals to what? Minus 9 minus 29. I said something yesterday. Sign in mathematics is very important. You don't say minus 9 because you are subtracting and don't take into consideration the minus 29. You must do that. So we are subtracting equation 2 from 1. So you are, of course, you subtract the terms that look alike. So in this case now, the first one we are doing is a plus 2d minus a plus 6d equals to minus 9 minus 29. Please always note that. So in this case now, what do you do? Let's be very fast now. Still have a number of things to solve. All right, a minus a cancels out. So you have 2d minus times plus is what? Minus 6d equals to minus 9. Minus times minus is what? Plus 29. So this one gives us what? Minus 4d equals to what? Minus 9 plus 29 is what? Plus 20. Good. So we have d to be what? Our d equals to 20 divided by minus 4, which is what? Minus 5. Please, is there anybody here that doesn't understand how I got minus 5 to be d? Very simple. Please, if you don't understand, you can drop it in the chat and I will explain again. So now let's move on. Now let's calculate our a. Now that we have our d, right? It's easier to get a. Just use any equation. Let's say we want to use the first equation, which is a plus 2d equals to what? A plus 2d. So I'll be very fast now because we need to solve some questions too. A plus 2d equals to what? Minus 9. So substitute your, it will now give you a plus, what is your d? Minus 5 equals to what? Minus 9. So a minus what now? You know, plus 2 times minus 5 is what? Minus 10 equals to minus 9. Don't forget, I told you something yesterday. If a number is crossing the equal to sign, you are taking it to the other side, the sign changes. So you have minus 10 crossing the equal to sign, it becomes what? Plus 10. So a equals to what? A equals to what now? A equals to minus 9 plus 10, which is 1. Minus 9 plus 10, which is 1. So you have your a to be 1, you have your d to be minus 5. The question says, what is the 10th term? You'll be like, this is jam question. How are they expecting me to solve this in 40 seconds? It's simple. Like I told you, the reason why I'm going through all of these steps is so that all of us can be on the same page. You can all, understand what I'm doing here. But if you are doing it in your exam, you don't have to write all of these things down. You can just be looking at each, just be writing some things that are very important, and so that you can be fast. In 40 seconds, I can assure you, you can solve this question. When I was solving this question, it didn't take me 1 minute. All right. All right. So the question says, find the 10th term of the progression. Find the 10th term of the progression. Ogunbumi, Adebola, thank you so much. Can see you're dropping it. That you this is heartbroken. No. All right. So yeah, is it love emoji you wanted to drop? Okay. So Yanulua says, oh, don't worry, I'll tell you when I'm wrapping up. He says, tell us the next topic we're taking tomorrow before we depart today. That's fine. I'll tell you. Don't worry. All right. So Ogunbumi, are you not getting something? Or is it like you wanted to drop maybe art emoji to say, oh, I'm loving this? All right. So let's move ahead. So it says find the 10th term of the progression. So you should know your 10th term now. The equation for your 10th term is what? U10 equals to what? U10 equals to a plus 10 minus 1, which is 9d. Abi? So what is this now? Our a is 1 plus 9 into bracket what? Minus 5. So you have 1 plus 9 times minus 5. You have what? Minus 45. And this gives us what? 1 minus 45 is minus 44. Please, if you don't understand, put it in the comments. The reason why I have to skip explaining a lot of that is because I'm pretty sure you understand how I got this. Formula for your nth term is A plus n minus 1d. N here is what? Is 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. That's why you're having A plus 9d there. Okay? So, and you have your A to be 1, you have your D to be minus 5. Just substitute everything and you're good to go. So A is 1, D is minus 5. And the answer gives us what? Minus 44. That is option A. Option 1. Option A. Please drop it in the comments if you are getting it. So Yanolua, correct? Yanolua, correct? Oluwademilade, correct? I love that. Minus 44. Awesome. 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 Now let's move on to the next question. So the next question says, if the third term of an AP is 3 times the first term, it's still English. Like I told you, mathematics is simple. Word problem is the simplest. I can assure you that. Any word problem question, you should be able to solve it. Because all you just need to do is to interpret whatever it is you're given to get your equation and you can solve. All right. So if the third term of an AP, don't forget what I said. The number of terms, the nth term of an AP is given as what? Is given as what now? Un equals to A plus n minus 1d. So this one says the third term, which is U3, is what? Is 3 times the what? The first term. The first term of an AP is what? A. This is it. This is what they are telling you to do. And of course, you know that this one is A plus n minus 1. N here is what? Is 3. 3 minus 1, 2d. So this is your equation. A plus 2d equals to what? 3a. This is it. This is the interpretation of. Please, if you don't understand how I got A plus 2d equals to 3a, please drop it in the comment section. Drop it in the comment section, please. If you don't understand how I got this A plus 2d equals to 3a, I just interpreted this statement, which says if the third term that is n is what? Is 3 of an AP is 3 times the first term. And we've established the fact that the first term of an AP is represented by A. And don't forget the formula again, which says Un equals to A plus n minus 1d. This is the same formula I applied here. So if n here is what? 3. Your A, they've not given us, they didn't give us that. N is 3 minus 1 into bracket what? D. So this one, which is U3, don't forget they say it's 3 times the first term. So meaning this one will be equal to 3 times A. So 3A equals to A plus 2D. That's what I just did. That's what I just did. All right, let's move on. So, but in this case now, you can also collect the like terms. A plus 2D equals to 3A. I can say A go and meet 3A. 2D, you stand alone. So collecting the like terms now, it gives us 2D equals to what? 3A minus A. Don't forget, I told you if a particular number or figure or variable is crossing the equal to sign, the sign changes, right? Which is plus A is crossing to the other side. It changes to minus A. That's how I got the minus A. So 2D equals to 3A minus A. That gives us 2A. So in this case now, you can cancel out these 2. 2 cancel 2. You have your D to be equals to A. And you've established that already. All right? So let's look at the second statement. The second statement says, and the sixth term is 17. That is U6 equals what? 17. And that gives us what? A plus, let me see, write the formula, minus 1D. And that gives us what? What is our A? A is A plus, what's our N? It says the sixth term. N is 6. 6 minus 1 is what? 5. 5D equals to what? 17. Now, you've established the fact that A equals to D, right? So just substitute A plus 5. Since D is equals to A, just put A there, equals to what? 17. And that gives us what? 6A equals to 17. Please, hope you are all following. Hope you are all following. It's very important, please. It's very, very important. Hope you are all following. Very, very important. All right? So now that we've gotten 6A to be what? 17A. 6A to be 17. We can now say our A is what? A equals to, or let me look at the, let's check the next slide. Good. So A will now be equals to what now? You are dividing both sides by 6, right? A equals to 17 over 6. Let's note that already. But don't forget also that your D equals to A, which is equals to 17 over So your first term is the same thing as the common difference. Now the question says, and the system is this. It now says find the 10th term. Find the 10th term. All right. Good. I can see that you're following. You say find the 10th term. Find the 10th term. All right. The 10th term, let's write down the formula. It says, so the formula for the 10th term will now be what? U10 equals to A plus N minus 1 D. All right. So it says we should find the 10th term, right? A is what? 17 over 6 plus N minus 1 is what? N is 10, which is 9 into brackets what? 17 over 6. So 17 over 6 is common, isn't it? You can factor that one out. So this one is the same thing as writing this 17 over 6 is the same thing as one whole number 17 over 6, isn't it? So you can factor it out instead of trying to find LCM and all of that. No, you can just factor it out. You don't have to be writing. So this one gives us what? 9. So you can just factor. It will now be 1 plus. So this thing that I just wrote now is the same thing as writing one whole number 17 over 6 plus 9 whole number 17 over what? 6. So if you have x plus 9x, what do you get? 10x. Apply the same rule to this. 1 plus 9, 10. What is left? I hope you understand how I got this. I'm showing you shortcut though. I'm showing you the right shortcut to do, right? All right. So someone has dropped an option. Okay, we'll still get there. All right. Cool. So we have 10 whole number 17 over what? 6. What would that give us? Someone should do that calculation for me. Please do that calculation for me. Let me see. 28. All right. So, but in the option, do we have 28 there? I don't think so. We have 20. So the answer is 28.333. All right. 28.33333. So if you see something like this, maybe just, of course, there's no 28, but there's 29. Option A says 20, option B says 24, option C says 29, D says what? 33. So the closest one you want to choose there is 29. But of course, you are not expecting that you do this kind of mistake in your jam, all right? So let's move on to the next question. So that's the answer, 28.33. All right, so let's look at this very quickly. Then we can touch on, we can just, touch on geometric progression a little before we move on. All right, the sum of the first 20 terms of an AP is 500. The sum of the first 20 term of an AP is what? Is 500. So, you've been making use of the formula you've been making use of it so far now is n plus a plus n minus 1d, right? We've not really made use of the sum of the first n term of a particular sequence, in this case AP. So it says the first of the first 20 terms of an AP is what? Is 500. Is 500. All right? Is 500. Okay. So if the first term is 5, find the what? Last term. Now, let me show you the formulas again. So there are two formulas here, right? I say Sn equals to n over 2 into bracket 2a plus n minus 1d. Another formula when you have your last term. If you are given a last term, so let's assume you are given a last term of a particular sequence. The last term means the last term in that particular sequence, all right? So this is the formula you use. Sn equals to n over 2 into bracket a plus l. So meaning that in this question we are given now, this is the formula we're going to be using. This is the formula we're going to be using. Because I can see that they are telling us to find the last term, which is represented, is denoted by what? L. So now let's move on. Note this formula, n over 2 into bracket a plus l. N over 2 into bracket a plus l. All right? N over 2 into bracket a plus l. So the question says the sum of the first 20 terms. So in this case now, let's write down the formula first. Sn equals to n over 2 into brackets what? A plus L, where your A is the first term, your L is the last term, your N is the number of terms. So in this case now, N equals to what? 20. Don't forget. A equals to what? We are not given L is what we are also what? Looking for. Okay, good. Awesome. Now, since we have been given was okay, we've been given the first term to be 5. All right, good. We've been given the first term to be 5. Let me just put it there. The first term is 5. A equals to 5. Okay. So now let's substitute this. The sum of the first 20 terms of an AP is 500. Is 500. All right. It's 500. Meaning SN is what? 500. That's what it means. Your N is what? Your N is 20. 20 over 2 into brackets. What is your A? 5 plus what? L. Can you see? Simple as ABC. That's the formula we are using, and you're getting your term. That's the formula. Just substitute all your values there and you get your terms and you get your last term rather. So 5 plus L, let me write this. 5 plus L. All right, so 500 equals to 20 divided by 2. That gives us 10 into bracket 5 plus L. All right, so L is what we are looking for. Let's rearrange it. 10 into bracket 5 plus L equals to what now? 500. So 10 times 5 is what? 50. 50 plus L is what? Sorry. Is it 500 or 50? Can someone check? Let me see. 500. Okay, yeah, we're on the right path. See, it's 500. Okay. No, the question it should be 50 because I'm saying what was it called there? So it should be 50. Please correct that in your notes. This should be 50, not 500, please. It should be 50. Okay. Let me correct this here. It should be 50. Guess they made a mistake. So it's a typo error. It should be 50. So the sum that we're given is 50. So 50. All right, good. So let's use 50. Let's use 50. So it will now give us, okay, let me just clear this. So 50 equals to 10 into bracket what? 5 plus what? Plus L, okay. This question is wrong. Let me look at let me check the past question to see because by the time you multiply 10 times 5 you are getting 50, right? And L cannot be 0, of course. The last time here cannot be 0. So let's finish solving it. So this one is giving us what now? This is giving us 50L. 10 times 5 is 50. Okay. I think I got that now. I think I got where they made mistake, right? So it's still 500. Let's use 500. All right. Let's use 500. Let's use 500. Okay, good. I think I got it now. All right, let's use 500. So where we got it was that L, all right? So because of course you are using 10 also to multiply the L. So because I'm trying to look at it, I'm not seeing where it's all right, good. And that's why it's good to follow, right? So yeah, cool. So it's 500. They are right. Cool. So this one gives us 500, all right? Just follow through. 500 equals to 20 over 2. So this one gives us 500, this one gives us 500. So here we have 10 to be 500. Good. So your 10 times 5 is 50 plus 10L equals to what? 500. All right, good. So let's move on. So this one gives us what? Collecting the like times. I told you something yesterday. Collecting the like times is simple. What you are just trying to do is to do what? The ones that look alike, bring them into the same place. The one that looks the same, bring them into the same place. So in this case now, 50 and 500, transfer that 50 to go and make 500. That's what it means. So collecting the like terms, collecting the like terms. All right, cool. So we have your 10L to be equals to what? 500. Don't forget what I told you. When a particular number is crossing the equal to sign, always make sure that, see, but okay, let me even tell you now. You see what I'm saying here. 500 minus 50 is what? Will give us what? 450, isn't it? 10L equals to 450. So divide both side by 10, you get what? If you divide 450 by 10, you get 45. Now, let me show you something very important here. When we're transferring this 50 to the other side, you know that it changes to what? Negative. Imagine you didn't change it in your question. You have what? 500 plus 50, and that gives you what? 550. Can you see that in your options? You can see 55 there. After the exam, your friend will ask you, how was the jam, what's it called? How was your mathematics question? Did you solve it? I solved everything. I'm pretty sure I'll get 100. This simple mistake, because in jam they like doing that thing a lot. They will be giving you options that look alike. That if you make a mistake, you see your option there that you think you are right. So the option is 45, isn't it? But if anybody is solving this now and it didn't change, probably the person doesn't change the sign and he just put plus 50, it will give you 550. By the time you are doing 550 divided by 10, you get 55. 55 is in your option. And that's why it's very important that you are particular about your signs in mathematics. It's very, very important. I will mention this again. Please always note your signs. All right. Waris is saying math na bastard. It's not like that, anyways. But they are just making sure that, because if you are a mathematician, you must actually be mindful of your signs. All right. You should be mindful of your signs. All right. So now, that will be all. We'll be wrapping up very shortly. So we are done with the questions we have here, because of the time you have, we won't be able to go into geometric progression today. If you have learned one or two things, please let me know in the comment section as I wrap up with you. So someone asked earlier on that what topic are we having tomorrow? Let me make that a suspense. And that will, because I really want every one of you to join. Tomorrow's is going to be interesting, right? The topic we'll be having tomorrow is going to be interesting. It's different from what we just did now, which is AP. And I would advise you to join tomorrow's class as well. Don't say, oh, I know AP. There's no need for me to join class tomorrow. Please, so we are not treating AP tomorrow. You want to make sure that you join and invite everyone, invite your friends that you know they are writing jam. Make sure they are here also tomorrow so that we can have a great time. So yeah, so that'll be all for today. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, superstars. So we'll be having another class by 2. So just take a break of, I think, 7 minutes. Then we'll have your tutor will be coming in by 2 to take you physics. All right. Thank you so much. See you guys tomorrow. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Kechuku Henry. Thank you, Luadi Miladi. Thank you, everyone. God bless you. Bye.